me get that over here. This is what we're making. I said in my description that it's a mashup, and I mashed up the beautiful, beautiful paper from the autumn. Well, I'm wondering, where is my little description of my autumn papers? Autumn Leaves, I believe it is. Anyways, the DSP. It is so pretty. I've got to tell you that it had me at the bling. I love bling, and I can't help myself. So I have also used the other side, because the other side is quite lovely. It is what's considered photorealistic. Somebody has taken a photo and then they've turned it, or many photos, and turned it into designer series paper, and it is beautiful, and it makes a gorgeous card. Look at that one. Forest scene. Leaves. So there's just so much to this paper. But because I have been playing with it, and sometimes when I have 6x6 paper, I'm not always as efficient at using every little bit. So I had a bunch of scraps. And that's what I used for this card, is I used up scraps. Now you wouldn't think of this paper and the translucent florals bundle, but it turned out really pretty. So here are the stamps and dies. Now I normally do not turn my dies that way. Oh, here's a tip. Get one of our little plastic mailing envelopes, the clear, and if you've stamped and die cut extra pieces from a set, keep it right with your stamp set. And then you've got them, because I grabbed 2 of them for tonight. And the dies. We have, because I stamped on vellum, I needed to stamp early. I had everybody come in and stamp before we had dinner so that the vellum, the ink could dry, because otherwise it would have smeared when we die cut. So it does need a little bit of time on vellum to dry. So I'm going to put those right there, because we're going to start with the card base for the spanner card. So you'll see it's called the spanner card because the top and the bottom are not attached to each other. There is a piece that spans the middle and holds it together as a card. And yes, it stands up nicely. So let's do the card part first before we do any stamping and decorating. So what I have is a 4 1/4. Hi Sheila, nice to see you. By 11. And I know I am the post-it note queen, because I always have everything marked with post-it notes and sizes. But I took them all off. And so we're going from memory, and my handy dandy little ruler here. Let's see, where is it? There it is. Handy dandy little ruler. And I will put, after they're live, I'm going to have dinner. And then I will put all the directions in the comments. Or in the description, one of the two. So we're going to take this and we're going to cut our card. This is the hard part. So instead of 11 inches, we actually want 7 inches. So we're cutting off 4 inches. 4 inches. Doesn't matter which side you cut it from. They're both the same. It will work. There's 4 inches. As I told my ladies, my friends, don't move this. Don't turn the direction, because we're going to take another 1.5 inches off of it. So we'll have a piece of cardstock that's 1.5 inches by 4 1/4, and 2.5 inches by 4 1/4. And this is how it works. Let me get this out of the way. You're going to fold your top down, which surprisingly enough is 1.5 inches. How's that? This goes here, and it's span, and the reason it works, oh, thank you, Sheila, I appreciate you sharing, is we turn this, the middle, to the side on its little edge, and that's what's going to span our card. So let's do some quick attaching. I went down 1/8 of an inch, and I've got this pretty paper with, I don't know, can you see the shine? Yep, you can see the shine. Okay, so we're going to take this, put our Seal Plus on it. Look at that. I'm still using Seal Plus. I feel like I almost feel successful with it. Maybe a couple more months, and I can call myself a Seal Plus expert. My husband always used to say an expert is a has-been drip under pressure. He was very funny. Not quite as funny as he thought he was, but he was still funny. And then I've got, because I'm using scraps, I didn't have enough scraps to do the same Designer Series paper, but I think it looks good anyway. Let's see. Let's just put a little Seal Plus on this one. When I'm done, I'm going to show you some cards that I made just using the Autumn Leaf suite of products. There we are. And we'll put this one on the bottom. But first I'll move it up so you can see what I'm doing. I don't know, I set up kind of in a hurry and may have got my mat too far away from the edge here. So there we have our edge pieces and our spanner. And I am going to put the Seal Plus on each side. You might want to use Tombow glue for this if you want the little bit of wiggle room. There are so many ways you can put this together. You can put this to the side, you can put it in the middle, you can move it over. You can stamp your greeting over to the side so it shows by putting your spanner here, or you can hide it like I did. It is all up to what you like. So I always put the top one on first. And let's see, there we are. And then I line up the bottom. I might not have gotten my Designer Series paper perfectly straight because that looks a little crooked. So let's adjust because I don't want it to look crooked. I want it to look straight. How's that? Might be a little off center, but that's okay. So we've got our spanner card made. Not as hard as it looked. Not as straight as I'd like either. Boy, I think staring at the computer all day today made my poor little brain tired. Okay. Let's try that. And then we'll put this on again. I want this to look good because I'm going to draw someone from the comments and the sharing probably tomorrow morning because I want the replays to have a chance so that I can send this card to them. Yes. So, because this was 2.5 by 4 1/4, this was 2 3/8 by 4 1/8, and this one is 4 inches long by 2 inches, I believe. No, this is 2 1/4, so that was 2 3/8. That's it. And this is what we're going to stamp on for our focal point. We're going to also stamp on a 4 1/4 by 5 1/4 inch sheet of paper, and that's going to go underneath it. We need to stamp our sentiment on this is just a little strip. There's always strips, when I'm cutting things. I keep my strips because they're so handy. And I want to show you a tip. Now, did you notice that this edge looks a little, not rough, but it's kind of up? That's because sometimes I cut on one side, sometimes I cut on the other. And your bone folder is actually a little dry iron. You can smooth those down. And you can do it from both sides because I saw there was a little something on the other side. I don't know what I got into it. But, so I'm using the large flower and the small flower. I've got gorgeous grape ink, which is gorgeous. I am a purple person after all. Highland Heather. Okay, who else here likes purple? I absolutely love it. I am Team Purple. Mossy Meadow ink. And when I did this card, I stamped off so it's light and I can read my words, but I think they will look better if I do them in the tuxedo black. It'll be easier to read. So I thought I would try that on this card. So I've got my words. I've got a leaf stamp. There is a stem stamp, but I found the ladies on Monday night had a really hard time on not getting a halo, and they were not happy. So I got out my little Mossy Meadow Stampin' Right marker, and we used that to draw the stems. Oh, Susan, you're a purple team too. Oh, good, good, good. Oh, Sheila, boy, I picked the right card for you, didn't I? Purple and green. Okay, so let's start stamping. I'm going to bring in a little mat in case I go off the edge, which I will because I'm going to do my envelope first. Because you have a pretty card on the inside and you have a pretty card on the outside, you really need to have a pretty envelope. That's a rule. Well, at least it's a preference. So I've got both my purples, Gorgeous Grape, Highland Heather, and I'm going to do my small one in the darker color, Gorgeous Grape. I will say that my stamp pad is a little juicy. It probably could have been re-inked just recently. A little drier might be good, but it's still working quite well. Highland Heather is not as juicy. We've got a good little flower here. And it seems to me to make my life easier, we're just going to draw a couple of stems. How's that? Susan says you wear it with your other favorite colors, blue and black. Oh, a walking bruise. I love it. Sheila, you're right. No naked envelopes allowed. Okay, we've got our envelope. Let's do, now here's where I did the lighter color. I think the lighter color would be better since we're going to put our sentiment in it, the middle of it. Let's see, close that one up. Let me take it, and then I am going to stamp it off. Let's see, what does it look like? Stamped off twice. Stamped off once is enough. So we're going to second generation in the middle of our card. And I'm going to take and put a stem on it, but I'm going to use the small end instead of the brush end, the pen end. So it's not too awfully long. That is about the extent of my hand drawing. I just want you to know that. Unless, of course, I remember when I was a teenager, there was that little hairy guy with glasses, cowlick feet with sandals, and a sign usually. He did no smoking. Okay, now you have seen, okay, bringing it up. Now you have seen the total extent of my drawing. That's why I love stamping so much. Let's see. What am I doing? I'm doing the tuxedo black. Happily, I did not turn it upside down on my table. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Let's get that nice and inked up and put it right here in the middle of the flower. Wishing you all the happiness in the world. And that's all we're going to use that one for. On to our sentiment. There it is. Now, I don't know. Oh, I did forget his antenna, didn't I? I did give him a cowlick, though. I thought that was cute. You're the best. Let's see. I have inked this, but there is a spot on my pad that is a little dry. Let's see. That is much better. Maybe I need to put a little more ink on it. I am just going to put this about the middle. Oh, I got a little thing on it. Okay, let's clean the halo off. And let's do what I suggested to the ladies when they were getting halos on everything. To take the stamp pad to the stamp. And then you can get a better idea of what's getting inked up and are less likely to get a halo. But since we're very happy that this is two-sided paper, I love paper that's two-sided. Yes, I know it's all two-sided. But every once in a while, I forget that the back side is going to show and get myself in a little bit of trouble. But this isn't. And all I did was I just slant cut the ends. We'll put him right over here with the flowers. And let's go ahead, because you know the more pieces I have sitting on my desk, the more likely I am to make a mess somewhere or to lose a piece. So we're going to put this in. Pat it down. We can probably get rid of our stamping pad right now. And I want to take my flowers and see where they're going to go. They're going to hang over. And I'm going to keep with the pattern of drawing my own stems. Some of this is going to be covered up. And I think we should try to put in a couple of leaves. Let's see, I think I'd like this one to go right here. It's not quite touching, but turn this one this way. And maybe put one right. No, I don't want anything to hang over. Here we go. Now, one thing I did do, since there's a lot of color on here, oh, I like that side better. I just put a little bit of seal at the bottom, and it seems not to show through. Vellum is it's hard to hide what your, it's hard to hide the adhesive is what I'm trying to say. So there's that one. A little bit of adhesive on my finger. Let's get rid of that. And this is going to go right in here. With dimensionals. Because this is going to be pretty easy to mail. I got that one a little bit over. Yeah, well, Some days things don't really go all that well. But it's going to be fine. So there we are. And we need bling and we need ribbon, but let's put this on our card first. The only thing on the card that really is put on with dimensionals is the the sentiment. And all we need is a bow. It's my little bow jig. It's a block of wood with holes drilled in it every 1/4 inch, I believe. And I wrap this around. That's a little long. Let's make it a little bit shorter. Grab my ribbon scissors. Yeah. I'll wind up trimming that a little bit more anyway. And this is the pretty, pretty satin edged ribbon, Berry Vanilla and Gold. Pull that nice and tight. I give a little tug on the ribbon ends, and we'll probably then a glue dot. The glue dots now live in a drawer. They no longer can live on top of the desk because no matter what I do, the 2 gorgeous little kitties manage to get them and take them and just do crazy things with them. They took the glue dots and unrolled it and munched the backing one day. So I had glue dots on my floor in the bedroom. And the other morning, I thought I would be oh so smart. I'm going to be smarter than the cats, I thought. I took and, let's just put this right down here. Or shall we put it up here? Let's put it up there. You're the best. And then, these are the Neutrals adhesive backed sequins, so they're flat. And everybody used different colors, which I thought was really interesting. I used gold, someone else used copper, and someone else used these, which are more of a bronze. So let's do the bronze today, because I thought that looked really cool. But they are really nice and flat. So this is going to mail beautifully. There we are. We have a card with a pretty envelope that looks a lot like, I think when I was making them, that might be Orchid Oasis, because that is definitely Highland Heather. But it looks good, so that's all that matters. I'm going to fix this up before I mail it to the winner. And I'm so glad you joined me. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful evening. If you haven't yet, I hope you'll like my page. And I guess that's it. Happy crafting.